How's it going, everybody? We're back for another edition. Well, not really another edition of All In, but it's more so a CD review of what we got so far in 2026. So, in this very episode, I'm going to go over 5 albums worth checking out so far in 2026. So, yeah, a little behind the scenes. I had difficulty getting the damn camera to even work. Like, I'd have it powered on, hit record, it powers off. Like, what the fuck? But anyhow, moving on. So, what do we have so far in 2026? So, we'll start off. Yes, I've been getting more into physical media here lately, like getting back into it here. So, what we got here is, to start off, the latest release from Alterbridge. So, you got Miles Kennedy and Company. And, of course, they were around since '04, with, like, the remnants of Creed. And, of course, then Miles Kennedy was sort of bouncing around between his solo career, did a few albums with Slash, and then back to this band. So, here we have, in 2026, it released January 9th of 2026, we have their self-titled album called Alterbridge. So, what do we have here? So, we have Silent Divide, which is their first single, Rue the Day, Power Down, Trust in Me, Discarded, and then we have Test and Able, What Lies Within, another single from this album, Scales Are Falling, Playing Aces, What Are You Waiting For, and we end it with Slave to Master. And all in all, it's sort of like back to their roots, just your normal Alterbridge. But yeah, you don't get this with downloads or Spotify, the album art. But yeah, not a bad album. I spun it a couple times. Maybe I needed a little more time to process it a little more, but worth checking out. So, moving on, we have a really heavy one here. So we have Lamb of God. That's right. These guys also around since '04, and how I discovered listening to them was, back in the days of the CD Club. I forget if I know what it was. My buddy Josh, he was also part of the CD Club, and sometimes if you don't respond in time, you get albums you don't really want. And he ended up getting Lamb of God's first album on accident. So he didn't care for it. He gave the album to me, and that's how I really got to know Lamb of God. So here it is. This one purchased at Walmart. We have Into Oblivion. You see it's got the parental advisory. So Walmart is selling parental advisories again. Sweet. So this one released March 13th of this year. So here we have Into Oblivion. We have Parasocial Christ. We have Sepsis, which those 3 were like the first singles to the album before the whole album dropped. You got The Killing Floor, Avacchio, St. Catherine's Wheel, Blunt Force Blues, Bully, 1,000 Years, Device/Destroy, and we end it with Wire. And yeah, these guys, they're back to their true fashion. Very hard, very heavy. If you like hard screaming metal, here you go. And I'm not talking like, it's nothing like the emo metal you hear today. Like, this is like true, down to the bone metal. And this is one of the bands that actually performed on Ozzy's final show. Like, they're the ones that redid the song Children of the Grave. Very good cover. They did that just before they started releasing any singles off of this. So, another good one to check out for sure. So, really, just about all these I'm going to show here came from Walmart. So, yeah, you can still buy, like, latest releases at Walmart. So, moving on, we have the latest one of this stack. We have Black Label Society, and they released Engines of Demolition. So, really cool cover art. I like it. You got the, sort of like the turbo there with the skull. And then on the back here, the skull there. But really good artwork. Zakk Wylde and Company. He didn't really bust on... Like, Zakk Wylde himself didn't really bust onto the scene until he was with Ozzy, and they did the No Rest for Wicked album, which... Very good album, very underrated album, I must say. And then, as Black Label Society, then I think they first started releasing albums under this name in maybe like '98, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, very good stuff here. So we start off. We have Name in Blood. We have, I can't hardly read it there on the disc. I'm gonna have to read it off the screen here. We got Gather of Souls, Hand of Tomorrow's Grave, Better Days, Wiser Times, Broken and Blind, The Gallows, Above and Below, Back to Me, Lord Humongous, Pedal to the Floor, Broken Pieces, The Stranger, and last and definitely not least, we have Ozzy's song. So yeah, he did a tribute to his dear friend, former bandmate Ozzy, on this last track. So I must say that was pretty good. So definitely a good send-off, for sure. Kind of a sad song, but good tribute. But yeah, so the singles, you got The Gallows, Lord Humongous, Broken and Blind, and Name in Blood. Yeah, my stepdaughter, she definitely has a hots for Zakk Wylde for sure. And she told me she listened to this album as well, and she loved it. So, worth checking that one out. Okay, so moving on to another well-known artist, Rob Zombie. That's right. So here we have The Great Satan, just released in February 27th of this year. So here we start off with FTW 84, which means fuck the world. We have Tartinola, we have, in parentheses, I'm a rock and roller. We have Heathen Days, Who Am I, Black Rat Coffin, Sir Lord Acid Wolfman, Punks and Demons, The Devilman, Out of Sight, Revolution Motherfuckers, Welcome to the Electric Age, The Black Scorpion, Unclean Animals, and we end it with Grave Discontent. And here again, he was definitely true to his form in this one, and he didn't really overdo it on the in-between interludes and skits either. Like, it was all just, like, down to it. So here we get the singles Punks and Demons, Heathen Days, and I'm a Rock and Roller, which all released before the album did. So, yeah, I about dropped it there. So, true to his form, definitely recommend it. And I first got into Rob Zombie back when Hellbilly Deluxe released. Like, I first heard, like, White Zombie, like, back in the 90s, but wasn't really that into it. But whenever I heard Dragula and Living Dead Girl and Super Beast, like, them three songs really got me into Rob Zombie. So, I remember waiting for Hellbilly Deluxe to drop back in, like, August of 98. And I still have that album somewhere up on these shelves, still to this day. But, yeah, definitely his best work I've heard in recent times for sure. So I'd recommend it for sure. And, yeah, with White Zombie, he was releasing albums like all the way back in '84. But he never got popular till like the 90s. So, yeah, The Great Satan, check that one out. And last, and definitely not least, we can't go through this video without talking about this one. The brand new self-titled Megadeth. That's right. And this one, I was waiting for months for this to come out. I think they started releasing singles off of this all the way back to maybe like October of last year, I believe. Oh yeah, Wiki can tell me for sure. Yeah, I was right. Tipping Point released in October. And then this album dropped on January 19th of this year. Very highly anticipated. And supposedly their last album, and if it is, it's definitely a good send-off for sure. So here you got really kick-ass cover art, which they did release what that's going to look like before any songs. So I got the Target version of it, so it's got the bonus track. So here we have Tipping Point, which was the first song that they released as a single. Really good song. You got I Don't Care, another good one. You got Hey God, we got Let There Be Shred, Puppet Parade, Another Bad Day, Made to Kill, Obey the Call, I Am War, The Last Note, and they're calling this a bonus track. They got their cover of Ride the Lightning by Metallica, which really Dave did have a hand in writing that song, so some could debate whether or not it's a cover. It's sort of like when he did Mechanics on his first album versus the Four Horsemen over on Metallica. So there's that. And then you got track 12, Bloodlust, which is a target-only bonus. And then, if you got the exclusive digital edition, you got the bonus track, Nobody's Hero, with, the black cover and sort of like the negative art-looking cover, like the negative version of this, I guess. But, damn good album. Probably my favorite so far this year, for sure. But yeah. So I've told Megadeth, love it. Recommend it. Very solid album. I don't know what more to say about it. I've spun this probably about a half a dozen times so far, and it seems like it gets better every time. So yeah, that is 6 rock and metal albums worth checking out so far in 2026. So, coming up in the next couple weeks, we're going to get back into All In for a couple more. So, we'll see you then.